Hello, this is Jen Mitchell Love from Solace Divorce Mediation. This video is focused on the terms of your financial agreement. So, yes, we're going to talk about money, which most people everywhere going through a divorce are very concerned about money and what's going to happen. And so, I want to share with you, there are different ways to go through your divorce, and the Divorce with Love Masterclass is a deep dive into everything you need to know about the legal space of divorce, everything about the emotional space. But the two main, ways that you can go through your divorce are going to be litigation and mediation. And so this video is really focused on creating the terms of your financial agreement. And so we have the Supreme Court in every state, which is sharing your homework. All divorce people everywhere, people going through divorce in the country, you are required to do a financial disclosure, which means you're going to disclose every asset and every debt that you currently own. And then the governing law is going to share with you what marital property is, what marital property is not, and what needs to be included in your financial agreement. And the way that I like to explain it to my clients at Solace, an easy way to kind of think of it is it's basically three buckets. So the first bucket is going to be the asset and debt division. The second bucket is going to be support calculations. So like child support and maintenance, or alimony, spousal support. So that's second bucket. Third bucket is going to be any of those extra expenses for your children, extracurricular activities, medical expenses above and beyond health insurance coverage, religious expenses, anything specific to your children, that's going to be that third bucket. And when I shared there's two main ways to get a divorce, litigation or mediation, the reason that holds significance in this space when we're talking about the financial agreement is because while we have the same Supreme Court and same governing law in every state for every divorce that is in the courtroom litigation setting and every divorce that is utilizing mediation, it's done very differently. So, in the courtroom setting, you have your attorneys talking for you. You're not able to speak your truth of what you think is fair and equitable for the division of the assets and debts that you have worked so hard for your entire duration of your marriage, or the support calculations, or those extra expenses. You don't get to speak your truth. Your attorney talks for you, and a judge then is issuing a ruling saying whatever the judge believes is most fair and equitable. And the first 9 years of my career, I was in the courtroom setting as a litigation attorney. And what I found most commonly is I would argue one thing, my opposing counsel would argue another thing, because it was our job to be the zealous advocate for our client and represent our client's best interests and our client's best interests solely. They're two very different people, have two very different best interests. We are usually here and here, and then a judge would pick one of us. That was my most common experience in the courtroom. The other experience I had in the courtroom when it came to financial agreements, these three buckets, is when I was litigation attorney, it was like one thing at a time. We're going to talk about the house, and then we're going to talk about retirement, and then we're going to talk about banking, and then we're going to talk about debts. It's like, why are we talking about everything one thing at a time? Why can't we be up here, a bird's eye view, to see these three buckets and kind of up here come up with something that is fair and equitable? So every state has its own guidance when it comes to the financial agreement. Most states are equitable, saying fair and equitable. Some states are 50-50. It depends where you are living, and that requires you to kind of look into that, to see what your state guidance is. But I can share with you, that's the litigation way of doing the financial agreement, where your attorneys are talking, the judge is issuing rulings, and every ruling that the judge issues becomes a court order. All of those court orders then go into your financial agreement, and that is your agreement. Is this piecemeal? Your attorney's arguing, the judge making a ruling, and now we're going to put everything together. Mediation is different. In mediation, you and your spouse are outside of court being guided by a mediator. And I'm pointing to myself because this is the work that I have done for the past decade. And that is in the role of mediator, where I get to use my 19 years of attorney expertise and experience. And I get to guide my clients through this journey where we can have all of the conversations that we need to have. And for the financial agreement, we absolutely can be up here looking at what is fair and equitable. This is your marriage. This has been your relationship space. You are the two people who have worked so hard for all of this marital property. You are the best authorities to figure out what is fair and equitable. And what I personally love about the mediation space, which is very different from the litigation space, in mediation, we're able to look at more than just the values of those assets and debts. Whereas I feel like in court, there's a lot of focus on, okay, what is the value? How much is this worth? Outside of court and mediation, we can take a different approach. We can, and it's not a hugely different approach. We are looking at the numbers. We are looking at, okay, what is the value of the asset? What is the payment responsibility for the debt? We are looking at that. But in addition to that, we, and when I say we, I mean, when we're in the mediation space, we're all talking and sharing what our truth is. But the homework is for all of my Solace clients, before we're in the mediation space, for you to give yourself that time to connect with yourself, to really figure out, okay, what is my truth? And I'm touching my throat chakra because this is the blue circle spinning of energy, the wheel that is focused on truth, and asking, what is my truth? What do I believe is fair and equitable? When I'm up here in the bird's eye, looking at asset and debts, looking at the support calculations, looking at these extra expenses, what is my truth with fair and equitable? And when coming up with your truth, when you're outside of court and you're stepping in this space of being empowered and speaking your truth and really really tuning into what your truth is, you can look at the whole relationship. You can go back and you can reflect on the whole relationship. What happened in that space? How do we do things? Who was contributing? Who wasn't? Whatever. How, taking all that into consideration. And then also looking at the numbers, the values for everything. And then from there, there's a third step that we're able to do in mediation that we can't do in the courtroom setting. And that is, what is the life that you desire to co-create for yourself? What are you wanting to create in your life? Because the divorce journey, that is one of the biggest gifts of divorce because it is so dark and it is so hard. And that is, you can emerge from your journey very, very connected with who you are and what you want because it is so lonely. Divorce is so lonely that it kind of forces you to cocoon, to really take care of yourself and love yourself and ask yourself, who am I? Who am I now? How did this happen? What is going on? Who am I now? What do I want to do? And so that's the beautiful part of mediation is we can talk about that. You're calling in these new energies of, this is everything I learned about myself from this space of relationship and marriage and going through this divorce. And this is what I want to create for myself. And this is what I need to feel comfortable and safe in that space. And another part that I love about mediation and specifically about Solace is because it's all about energy and intentionality and mindfulness and love, is guiding my clients to recognize, you can still care about your spouse. This has been a very important relationship in your life, and you can care about your spouse's well-being, and you can want them to feel happy, and you can want them to feel good, and you can want them to feel safe and secure in their future space that they're stepping into. And we can exercise that mindfulness and that giving and that taking and that flow in the relationship space, shifting from married to co-parents and friends, or if there's no kids, friends, support, whatever it's going to be. It's whatever you want it to be, and it's with intentionality and it's with mindfulness. And so I'm sending you love as you navigate the space of your financial agreement. And I also want to remind you, in that space, if you're going through a divorce, and especially if you have kids, the parenting agreement, focusing on what is in the best interest of your kids, that's usually much easier for parents and people to navigate the parenting space than it is the money space. And I want to share with you the reason for that is, of course, these are your children. You both love them more than anything in the world, and you want them to be happy, healthy, and well adjusted and good. And so you have that shared interest, towards your children, towards your family. When we're talking about money, we are confronting some really deep seated beliefs that each of you have when it comes to money, when it comes to security, when it comes to owning things and stuff. And this is in direct reference to the mindset of scarcity and abundance. It's this scarcity abundance. It's a whole stream. You can fall wherever you fall in that. And the truth of all of this is, you and your spouse were raised in different households. You have different beliefs that you have been given, different ways of being, different ways of seeing the world. And all of those are going to be confronted when you're going through your divorce. And some will be confronted in the parenting agreement space, and a lot are going to be confronted in this financial agreement space. And so I encourage you to watch the mirror video and do that exercise, really dig deep to really learn and recognize and understand the reflections that are being shown to you, and how that are here to help you release them, and really shift into a space of abundance, shift into a space of trust and faith and belief that you are the co-creator of your life. So I'm sending you much love as you navigate this space. You can do this, and all is always well. And I am here to support you in any way that I can, and I'm sharing so much love from my heart space to yours.